All right, good to see you, Jim and Michelle. Maybe we'll have some people join. Hello, YouTube, when I put this up on YouTube. Go ahead and come to a nice, comfortable seat in your chair. Go ahead and scoot forward a little bit, and then just kind of shift from side to side on your sit bones. Good. And then make that shift smaller and smaller until it's almost imperceptible. And you're pressing down into both sit bones. As you press down, you're lengthening through the sides of your waist. Let's give the shoulders a little roll out. Might be some crunches. There might be some tension, some stiffness. So just see if you can roll a little bit of that out. All right, and then one more time. Press those shoulder heads back, feel them release down and gently squeeze in towards each other. So there is this sense of openness across your heart and chest. There is this sense of lift of your sternum. You can take your hands to your thighs, allow your eyelids to close. Take a nice deep inhale through your nose. And open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. Inhale through your nose. Now open your mouth, sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. Again, smooth, full, deep inhale. And sigh the breath out, let it go, ha. And then go ahead and seal your lips. We're going to start to inhale through the nose and also exhale through the nose. Listen to that sound of your breath. You might even constrict the sides of your throat a little bit so you create that ujjayi breath. That breath can be heating, so on hot days like today, sometimes it's nicer to just keep the breath nice and easy. Nice and even and easy. I'm making up words here. Anytime you notice that you get distracted by sounds happening in the room that you're in or thoughts coming into your mind, just smile and then remind yourself to come back to concentrating on your breath, the sound of your breath. You might have to do that 1,000 times this next hour. Good, blink your eyes open. And then let's just start to do some hip circles here. So just kind of shifting from sit bone to sit bone. You can dip your shoulders, you can release your neck. These can be big, they can be small. Just finding this fluid motion at a pace that feels right in your body today. Nice work. This kind of motion, it's not something that we do a lot in yoga. I find that it usually feels pretty good. Kind of hitting all the directions. And then speaking of direction, you can go ahead and switch directions. Nice. kind of gently loosening up that pelvic girdle, the hips a little bit, the inner thigh. And then you can start to make these circles a little smaller until you eventually find that tall seat again, your mountain pose. And let's just peek down, double check that our feet are in a good position. So we have our ankles underneath our knees, feet are about hips distance apart. And then from here, let's move into our cat-cow. So just warming up the spine a little more. As you inhale, you rock forward on your sit bones, you're arching in your lumbar, your lower back. As you exhale, you round in, chin drops towards chest. Inhaling, arching. And as you exhale, you round in. You're going to continue like this. Sometimes it can feel really nice to close your eyes here. It helps you to get a little more internal. Helps you to pay attention to your spine. You start noticing things. How is it feeling today? And as you know, every time we practice, our bodies always feel a little different. So we're doing the same poses, but things might feel different than they did yesterday. So we're allowing space for that. We're getting curious about that. Never trying to force anything. So you can continue here like this. This might feel really nice. If you'd like to start to warm up the shoulder girdle as you're inhaling, you could reach that right arm forward and up. Good, and then as you exhale, you release it down. Inhaling, reach that left arm forward and up. Good, exhale, release, and then just continuing like that. Alternate arm, reaching with the breath. So we're finding a little bit of flow here, connecting our movement with our breath. That always feels really nice. It creates this rhythm in our bodies, much like our breath is very rhythmic. For a lot of us, moving with the breath like this feels very calming. It's almost easier to quiet the mind than when we are sitting in a static pose. Of course, that might not be the case for you. That's okay too. Let's do a couple more rounds to each side. You can always modify as you know if something's not working for you. You just do something different. So the next time you're reaching up through that left side, you're gonna rock back, and then you're just gonna inhale back into your Tadasana, your mountain pose. And again, let's just take a moment here. Let's check in. You feel those sit bones pressing down. You feel the lengthening through the sides of your waist that happens, that openness across your heart and chest. So this beautiful, simple pose, but not easy per se. And you're listening to your breath, that inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. So we've kind of done some circles in the hips. We've done the flexion and extension in our spine. Let's do a little side stretching in the spine. So that's another great direction to go. Release your arms down by your sides. As you inhale, take your left arm up and over. You side bend to the right, and then exhale, release. Inhale, right arm comes up and over. And exhale, let it go. Inhaling, reaching left arm up and over. And exhale, release. So you've got the flow here. Just continuing like this, letting it feel really good. Feeling all of that length in the side body as you get this stretch. Do just a few more rounds to each side, and then we'll come into a hold, which also always feels really good. All right, so the next time you are side bending to the right, you're gonna hang out there. Anchor more into your left sit bone. You can imagine that there's a sandbag on top of that thigh helping you to root down. As you press into that left sit bone, you're extending through your left fingertips. And then maybe you're feeling these right ribs roll up towards the ceiling a little bit. Maybe you're gazing up underneath that top arm. Beautiful work. Breath smooth and steady. Shoulder blades still releasing down your back, even though we're extending through that left arm. Beautiful work. As you exhale, release down. And then inhale, take that right arm up and over. Good, so both sit bones pressing, especially that right one. Just pretend that you've got that sandbag on your thigh. It's giving you some gravity, some weight. And then from that stableness, you can extend through your right fingertips. And as all of that's happening, there's a little twist of these left ribs up towards the ceiling. Maybe you're gazing up underneath the top arm. And as you exhale, you release down. Let's give those shoulders another little roll out. Just pay attention to how they're feeling. So they might feel like they're opening up a little bit already. There she is. Hi, Tammy. All right. So finding your Tadasana, your mountain pose, feeling those sit bones press, feeling that length through the sides of the waist. Good. Let's again just release the arms by our sides. So there's a little external rotation at the shoulder head. We're going to inhale, take the arms out and up, really firm muscle to bone in the arms. And then find that internal rotation so the thumbs face forward. And then like you're moving through molasses, press out and down. Inhale, stretch forward and up. And then forward and down. Externally rotate again, out and up. Find that internal rotation. Give yourself a little resistance as you press out and down. A few more full cycles of this. So just a little like shoulder vinyasa, a little shoulder flow. Let's do one more complete cycle. You might be feeling a little heat in the shoulders now as well, and even feel a little nervy. Good, and then you find your Tadasana. Let's take our hands to our thighs, and then you're going to just drop your chin towards your chest. So getting into the neck, a little stretching there. Can always feel really intense, this first one. I don't think we've done this in a couple of weeks, so you might find that it's extra spicy today. If that's you, just lift your chin a little bit. Also, just check in with your shoulders. Notice if they're trying to help out. And then you're going to keep your chin tucked, moving super, super slow. There is no rush to get there. You're taking several breaths. You start to bring your right ear in the direction of your right shoulder, feeling free to pause along the way. You might get to a spot that feels a little extra tight. Take a couple breaths there. See if you can find any release. This neck work can be really intense. We carry a lot of tension here. Sometimes we sleep funny. A lot of things can go on. So if you're getting a good stretch, I encourage you here to just stay here like this. If you feel like you'd like to give it, like kick it up a notch, you could go ahead and release your left fingertips towards the floor. So you're just using the weight of your arm to help intensify the stretch. And as always, maybe you try that out, you see how it feels. Maybe it works today, maybe it doesn't. Again, modifying as you need to, as feels good in your body. And then you might start to lift your left arm. This is like one that I sort of love-hate. You never want to do it as it feels intense, but it's kind of one of those ones that you're glad you did it after. Good. And then if you've got that left arm extended, go ahead and release it down, take it back to your thigh. Final little piece here. If you'd like to take your right hand, again, we're just using our own body parts to add a little weight. When I'm doing this version, I kind of like to pull to the side and then slightly forward. So it's like you're lengthening the left side of your neck. Good, and then you can take your hand to your cheek. Use the strength of your arm to press your head upright. Beautiful work. You can release that right hand down. Couple breaths here in your Tadasana, your mountain pose. How are things feeling? What's starting to shift? And then again, we return to our initial position, just releasing your chin towards your chest. Breath smooth and steady. This second time around, hopefully it feels like there's a little more space being created in the back of your neck. And it can be really incremental sometimes, small variations. And then moving nice and slow, you're going to start to bring that left ear towards your left shoulder. So hanging out here. Maybe you're releasing that right hand down. So just adding a little weight to the system. And then finally, you might start to lift from the inseam. of that right arm. Feeling that stretch in the armpit chest area. Can be quite intense. Good, go ahead and release that arm down, right hand comes back to your thigh, and then if you wanted to take your left hand on top of your head and kind of gently pull forward, feel that stretch in the side of your neck. This side might be entirely different, so we're always getting curious about that, just exploring. Good, and then you're gonna take your hand to your cheek. If you're in this variation, use the strength of your arm to press your head upright. Find your Tadasana, your mountain pose, and again, just check in and notice how you feel. So it turns out that I'm on call with Southwest this afternoon, and I just heard a little ding from my device. So I've got to check really quick to see if they've gotten me. So we're taking a little intermission just so I don't get in trouble here. Okay, I'm back. Seems that they gave me airport standby and then it went away, so I don't know what's happening. We're good. We're going to return to yoga. So coming back to our mountain pose, let's go ahead and come into, first let's do some twists and then we're going to move to crescent pose with a twist. So from your Tadasana, release your arms down by your sides. As you inhale, take the arms out wide. Feel your shoulder blades plugging in towards each other. Feel muscle firming to bone in your arms. Good. Deep inhale here. As you exhale, twist to the right and then really extend out through your arms. Beautiful. You're still feeling those shoulder blades plug in towards each other. And then release hands down. So left hand is going to come to your right thigh. It might be coming to that chair. You're pressing your shoulder heads back. Maybe bringing your gaze in the direction of your right shoulder. Breath smooth and steady. You're really feeling those left ribs wrap to the right. You're using the leverage of your arms to help you find that, but you're also using the rooting down sensation of your sit bones to help you find that as well. You take a deep inhale. And exhale, return to center. Good, arms release down by your sides. Inhale, take the arms out wide. Those shoulder blades are plugging in towards each other. Deep inhale. Exhale, just twisting your upper body to the left. Extending out through your arms. And then releasing your hands down. So right hand could be on right thigh. It could be on left thigh. A lot of that just feels or depends on how your body is feeling. Shoulder heads are pressing back. You might be moving your gaze in the direction of your left shoulder. Breath smooth and steady. A little lift of your sternum even as you're coming into this twist. Couple more good breaths. A deep inhale. As you exhale, unwind, come to center. Great work. So we're going to move into some crescent pose. You're welcome to keep your legs exactly as they are. You could also extend your left leg to straight if that feels better. Let's release the arms down by our sides. Feel that gentle lift of your sternum, that lengthening through the sides of the waist. And then we're going to inhale, take the arms out and up. And so just holding crescent pose for a few breaths. You might start to bring your gaze up. You might even press your palms together. And so feeling all of this length through the sides of the body. Good. Take the arms out wide as you exhale. Deep inhale here. And then we're going to exhale. Twist to the right again. And then release your hands down. So it's going to feel slightly different if you've done this variation with the legs. And again, left hand can be on left thigh. It can be on right thigh. So we're trying to keep this length in the torso even though we're twisting. If you feel like you'd like to go a little deeper, maybe extend that left arm and then bend the elbow, start to hinge forward. And then you can place that elbow to your thigh and then make a fist with your right hand, grab that fist with your left hand. And then you're probably going to get a lot more leverage here. So you're going to feel the twisting sensation shift internally. You might find that it's a little harder to fill up on your inhale. And then from here, let's go ahead and find a forward fold. So you're just going to unwind. You can bring your hands to your thighs. If you have blocks, those are really great. You could kind of walk those forward and then just place your hands on the blocks. With these crescent pose legs, you're going to feel a really nice stretch in that left hamstring. Good. As you inhale, just lengthen forward. And then you can bring your hands to your thighs and then just use the strength of your arms to help you press yourself up. Beautiful. You might get a little head rush coming out of that forward fold. If you have your left leg extended, go ahead and bend that knee. Find your Tadasana, your mountain pose. We'll take this to the second side. So you're always welcome to stay here with this configuration with your legs. If you'd like to extend your right leg to straight, go ahead and do that. Hips are still neutral here. They're both facing forward. You're rooting down into your sit bones. Release your arms by your sides. So sides of the waist are long. We're going to make them even longer as we inhale the arms out and up. So just a few breaths here in this simple, beautiful crescent pose. You might Begin to bring your gaze up, feel that lift of your sternum. So there's a little back bend in the upper body, thoracic spine. You might press your palms together. Good, and then you're going to take your arms out wide as you exhale. Take a deep inhale here. And then exhale, twist to the left. Deep inhale, stretch out. And then release your hands down. So just this upright twist for a few breaths, which is going to feel a little different, especially if you have that right leg extended to straight. Stay here like this. If you'd like to go a little deeper, maybe you start to reach that right arm kind of forward and diagonal, bend the elbow, and then start to hinge forward. Good. So that elbow rests on your left thigh. Make a fist with your left hand, and then grab that fist with your right hand. You're finding a lot of leverage here, so you can really wrap that lower right waist up towards the ceiling. Doing your best to fill up on your breath. One more deep inhale. And then as you exhale again, we unwind, we find our forward fold. So hands can be resting on your legs. Doesn't really matter how deep you go here. If you have blocks available or a table or a desk in front of you or even a piece of wall, that can become your prop. Good, inhale, lengthen forward. And then you can use your hands to your legs to help you press up with a nice tall spine. If you've got that right leg extended, go ahead and bend the knee. So knees are over your ankles. And then just doing a little mini check in here, go ahead and pause. Notice how you're feeling. Hopefully it feels as though you're sitting a little taller. Your breath is a little richer. Let's move into some of our sun salutes. So we're in our Tadasana. You're going to release your arms down by your sides. As you inhale, take the arms out and up. As you exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Let the chin release towards your chest. Inhaling, this might be another place where you use your blocks. You could also take your hands to your shins or your thighs. Exhale, fold. Good, press down. Take up space as you rise up. Maybe gaze up, maybe press the palms. And as you exhale, hands come to heart center. So that's our Ardha Surya Namaskara, half sun salute. Inhaling, reaching. Good, exhale, fold in. Good, inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. And then press into your sit bones, reach arms out and up. Good, and as you exhale, hands come together at your heart. So I invite you to do 3 more of those. You're just going to move with your breath at a pace that feels good. If you just prefer to do some more cat-cow, that also works. Let these feel really spacious and graceful in your body. Really listening to your sound, the sound of your breath. It's your soundtrack. Good. When you're done with that 3rd round, again, you are in your Tadasana, your mountain pose. Noticing how you feel. And I know in my my email reminder, I said we were going to do some downward dogs today. I think we're going to go ahead and skip those because it's so hot. Instead, we're going to move into some hip stretching here. So a couple of options as always. Option number 1 is to open up this right leg. So getting a little external rotation. The thing that's nice about this one too, in addition to getting into the outer hip, you also get a nice stretch on the inseam of the leg, the groin area. So you can do this variation. You're looking for a little more just like strictly outer hip, kind of glute stretch. You're going to take your right ankle and you're going to cross it above that left knee. You're going to flex this right foot, especially if there's any sensation in your knee. And then we're going to just kind of simmer in this for several breaths. It's going to be quite intense. Hips get really tight. Of course, if you feel like you need more, you could be using your right hand to gently press down. Or if you're in the warrior 2-leg variation, you could be using your hand to press back and open up the thigh. You could just visualize your breath, your exhale in particular, going to that outer hip area, just creating a little space in your body. And then you can release your arms down by your sides. Inhale, take the arms out wide. Feel those shoulder blades plug in towards each other again. Deep inhale. And then as you exhale, twist to the right. So we've got one more twist here. And again, it's going to feel different with the legs in a different configuration. Go ahead and release your hands down. Left hand can be anywhere on this right shin. It might come to the outside of that right thigh. If you're in the warrior 2 legs, it just might be resting on your left thigh. Good, one more deep inhale. As you exhale, you unwind, you come back to center. And then let's do one more little forward fold here. So that's just going to intensify things. You might not forward fold very far at all. If this is a little easier in your body, again, you can just put your fingertips on blocks or on a table or desk in front of you. Good. As you inhale, go ahead and rise on up and uncross your right ankle. And then we're going to take that left side, which could look different. So again, you can find that warrior two leg, just making sure that your knee is over your ankle, or even you could have your ankle slightly ahead of your knee. This can be really nice, especially if you're feeling like your body needs a little more groin stretch. And then the other option here would be to cross your left ankle above your right. So you're going to hold here and simmer. I'm checking my phone again because it just lit up. It's fun being on call. Okay, I'm back. They legit gave me something, but now I know, I've acknowledged, we're good to go. So sending your breath to this outer left hip. Feeling that stretch. Good, and then let's find the twist in this pose. So releasing your arms down by your sides. As you inhale, take the arms out wide. Nice deep inhale here. And then as you exhale, twist to the left, extend out. And then release your arms down. Feel those right ribs wrapping to the left. Good, deep inhale. As you exhale, you unwind, you come back to center. And then we find our little forward fold here. So just to intensify the stretch that you're feeling in that left outer hip. This side might be a lot different. So that is not uncommon with hips. So you're just noticing if this is the side for you. Good. As you inhale, you're going to slowly press into your hands. Come on up. You're going to come back to your Tadasana, your mountain pose, and then let's move into some of our Viloma I breath today. So that 3-part breath on the inhale with retentions, and then that full exhale out. So find a nice comfortable seat. Feel that length through the sides of your waist. Feel that lift of your sternum. Make a nice smooth inhale through your nose. And then a full complete exhale. You're going to empty out. So a little pause at the bottom. Inhale 1/3 of the way up. Pause the breath. Inhale another third of the way. Pause the breath. Inhale all the way up underneath your collarbones. Feel that lift of your sternum. And then slowly exhale the air out through your nose, empty out. When you make it to the bottom, you're just going to take a couple rounds of breath. And then again, smooth, full, deep inhale through your nose. Full, complete exhale. Inhale 1/3 of the way, pause. Inhale another third of the way, pause the breath. Inhale all the way up underneath your collarbones. Feel that lift of your sternum. And then slowly exhale the air out through your nose, empty out. Couple of recovery breaths. Good. On your next exhale, empty out, pause. And then inhale 1/3 of the way up. Pause the breath. Inhale another third of the way. Pausing. Inhale all the way up underneath your collarbones. Slowly exhale the air out through your nose. A few rounds of breath. Good. Empty out. Little pause at the bottom. Inhale 1/3 of the way up. Pause. Inhale another third of the way up. And inhale all the way up underneath your collarbones. Turn the breath around. Exhale through your nose. And then you're just returning to normal breathing. We're moving towards our Shavasana. So you're finding a place to be relaxed. So you might stay in exactly the same shape you are in right now, though you're certainly welcome to take a forward fold, rest your head on a table in front of you. You're certainly welcome to come into a classic Shavasana, laying down on the floor. The more important thing is to just invite in this idea of relaxation. Give yourself permission to just relax, to absorb all of the work we've done together this past hour, and to just really revel in this final moments of stillness before we move into the rest of the day. So this is kind of like that period at the end of this chapter of our day. So just here for several moments, Shavasana. Asato ma satgamaya. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Mrityo ma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. So take a deeper inhale and open your mouth, let the breath go ha. You can start to bring some gentle movement back to your body. So circling ankles, wrists, wiggling fingers, toes, stretching out, any movement that feels kind of intuitive and right here. And just bringing your awareness back to your body. We're going to eventually land with our hands in a pile on top of our heart. And send yourself love and gratitude for showing up, for making the effort. Send each other love and gratitude for the community and the support. And finally, just promise yourself you're going to carry some of this good feeling with you into the rest of the day, week, weekend ahead. And finally, just bow your head with a smile. Beautiful work today. Thank you. I'm sorry for my interruptions. We shall see you all next week.